Hi, and we are welcoming Kris Cranfield to this episode of podcastmybusiness.com.au. And for the video, we've also got contentmadeeasy.com.au. Hi, Kris, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How about yourself?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And you're from Belmax. Is that belmax.com.au?
That is bellmax.com.au. Yes, it is.
Nice and easy. And what we're talking today is a wonderful eternal topic about IT and IT for small and medium-sized businesses and the things that we have to do for IT. But we also want to talk about Kris about his journey, his business journey. We love business journeys here on Podcast My Business. So, how long have you been in business, Kris, and what motivated you to start up your own business?
I've been in business for about 25 years on my own now. And what motivated me to get into it is that I felt there was just a nice niche out there to continue the old-fashioned face-to-face service with people and not the robots that everyone was going into at the time.
Yeah. Okay, and we know all about that. And now you're talking about robots 25 years ago. Now today,
Oh,
robots
today
are
we've,
everywhere.
we've got them.
Yeah.
We've got it. The artificial intelligence, the robots, everything is all out there. But people still are not just jumping onto that as yet.
Yeah, exactly right. So what makes you different is that people call you and your team, and you and your team actually respond to people in near real time
Real
and answer their
time.
questions directly. Yeah.
Absolutely. So we don't run call centers. We don't outsource anything. You ring Bellmax, you get myself or Bailey here in our team, and we're here to service the people that want to get their computers and technology working again.
So what do you think is the priority for businesses, small and medium-sized businesses in particular, when it comes to IT?
Small medium businesses, I think, in ways when they're not got managed services or someone's just been looking after them, like a relative or a cousin or a son's best friend from school. A lot of them just come down to backups, and that's what we find a lot lately is just no one's backing up their desktops, and then a computer fails, and the first thing we ask for is, oh, have you got your last backup? And they all sort of like stare at you like a deer in the headlight and don't know what to say, and then they all sort of, I haven't done a backup in a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit dangerous, to be honest. That a business doesn't look at that as an investment to their business to back up.
Well, it's funny you should say that. I'm about to do a full backup today across from my hard drive, the entire directory that I have with all my stuff on it. It's in the cloud, and currently I'm in OneDrive. I used to be on Google Drive, so I'll tell you
Oh,
my
yeah.
backup story. I
Oh, I'd
was
like to hear this one.
I told you I've got one, and I didn't tell you what
Oh,
it was.
yeah, you didn't tell me what it was. You said you had one.
Yeah. Okay. So it must be about 2 years ago now. I do occasional backups. I wasn't as good as like most people in business, and the Google Drive crashed. Got in touch with Google, and they told me to do something which actually made it even worse because it's just a call center. They just follow the script. They don't do anything individual. 3 weeks worth of data gone, never recovered.
Oh, no.
Because these cloud-based services, even including OneDrive, although they're a little bit better, they don't guarantee recovery
Correct.
from themselves. They say it's your responsibility.
Absolutely, and that's one thing that we do find. If you read that a lot of people don't realize is you don't read the fine print of what Microsoft and or Google tell you, and they will tell you that they can't guarantee that it's going to work. And that's why we also suggest to every one of our customers to do their own backup. So we actually have a cloud backup server that runs across all our businesses we look after. And the one thing it does do, it backs up their OneDrive every night. So even though it's OneDrive is saying it's there, well, what if something isn't there?
Yeah.
And that's why our great cloud backup program does that every night and backs up their emails and backs up their OneDrive, backs up everything else like that. So there is and that's what they do recommend in their terms and conditions, have an external provider to back it up.
Yeah. Well, I'm now doing old school. I get a hard drive, plug it in. I've got software that I'm having, because I've got a new laptop, I'm having a few issues, but I'm doing a full backup of my OneDrive. I know it's going to take a long time, and
Yeah.
do it overnight. But
Yeah,
really,
overnight it's a suggestion.
Yeah, because you can't rely on what backups not being done for you, and you need to have that element of control.
Yeah, and also I think a lot of people think that backing up to the cloud can be quite expensive as well. It's not that expensive to sort of back up into the cloud, but also not backing up is even more dangerous, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
I've seen people back up, put it on a stick, and then forgot to take it out of their pocket, and it's gone through the washing machine overnight.
yeah, yeah, exactly right. And the stick, I put mine in the safe, so it's fireproof, it's secure,
Excellent,
it's protected. It's not just in the sock drawer or anything like that.
excellent.
Yeah.
You're one of a kind then, because a lot of people don't do that.
I know. Well, I remember years ago we used to do backups, and you're talking about the drives and thumb drives, and you'd have 8 thumb drives, and you'd back up to one, and then the next day you do the
Yes.
next one, and someone would take it with them in their purse so that it would be off site.
Yeah, and the old tapes that used to be done as
Yes.
well. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We are going back, aren't we?
We are going back a long time. I was working for a company at one stage or contracting to them, and we used to back up on tapes every night. And that's because, the internet was so new back then. It was ADSL. So
Yeah.
you try and push gigabytes and gigabytes of data across, the internet, and cloud backup wasn't even existing back in the 2000s, the beginning there.
So my IT guy wants to do, we never quite got round to finishing it, do cloud backup as well as physical backup.
Correct. Yeah, look, I think it's a great idea. The way I look at it is your cloud backup is a set and forget because you put a timer on it and say, I'm going to, like most of our servers are backed up at 10 o'clock every night,
Yeah.
and they take a full image of that computer or separate, or what's been done for the day, and then they'll do a full image every Sunday night. And that works because I've had customers where someone has left the business. I'll give you a great story of one. I had a customer who left the business. The guy thought, "Yippee! I'm going to delete every email there's possible out of my email here. He won't see that I've been sending emails off to this customer or, stealing work data." And the guy left, and my customer rings me. The managing director rings me and says, he's left, and you know what he's done? He's deleted all his emails. I said, "Oh, that's all right. I got the last, backups." And he goes, "I was hoping you were going to say that." And we restored it within about 20 minutes. And he sat there and had a field day for about a week going, "Yep, I can see you planned this one well." So when people think, a stick is good, I personally think a cloud backup is good, because how about if the person who took the stick home all of a sudden leaves the company or forgot about it or dropped it?
Yeah.
There's a lot of sensitive data that's just disappeared then.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah. And having redundancy is important as well. So having it backed up in
Absolutely.
the cloud and then having it backed up even on the physical media. And when you do that, you don't need the physical media as often, I presume.
Yeah, look, a lot of people don't do the physical media. They forget. They'll go, "Oh, it's all right. I'll do that tomorrow. I haven't got time to sort of, place it in the computer and everything." And then you come in the next day and the building's on fire. Haven't had one of them yet, but I think of when I see businesses and they've burnt down overnight, or the next door caught on fire and it's now affected theirs. I sit there and go, I really hope that they had backups for their business, that day.
So, interesting. So I've got OneDrive,
Yep.
which is in the cloud, and I've now got a new laptop with a very large 2 terabyte hard drive. Do I back up just to my hard drive and the cloud?
Absolutely not. I would not leave it on your computer. If you dropped your computer and damaged it, or the hard drive failed, and you've got a backup on that, then you've got to try and restore that backup. You've got to send it off to data recovery, and data recovery is actually quite an expensive episode. To be honest, I've seen quotes up to $8,000 to $10,000 just to get data recovery done.
Wow. Okay. Well.
So, and people think you just send them in and these guys will do a great job. Well, they do a great job. I've got to say, I give the data recovery people do a great job. But, if your hard drive's got damage on it, or it's been dropped and it's cracked, and they're going to try and piece it back together like a doctor, it could take hours or days or weeks to sort of do, because they're very sensitive, those hard drives. And these days they're not hard drives. They're like memory sticks in your computer.
That's right. That's why the SSD doesn't have the plates or anything like that anymore.
No, not at all. It's a very simple, like a memory stick that you just put in the. No, not even. It's like a thin as paper these days. The hard drives are. They're very, very sensitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So tell us a little bit more about your what some lessons you've learned in business.
Oh, I've learnt a lot of lessons in business myself. It's every day's a different day. I would never say my day is the same every day. And if it is the same every day, that's not a good thing because I think you need to have a challenge every day.
Mm.
I love being in my own business compared to being with somebody else. Not, I've got my own challenges. Staff. I've got a great staff member now, Bailey, who works with me. I've had other staff members that have worked with me and haven't worked out, and all that. Sales is a new word that I just hate. I think trying to find a salesperson that's honest and truthful out there is the hardest one in the world. You
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
they can sell to you and say they can bring all this in and do this for you, but the minute they come working for you, they'll find every excuse not to sell. So
Yeah.
that's probably been the hardest one in
Yeah.
my career here, is trying to find a true, honest salesperson. You know,
Yeah. Exactly. And look, the reality is no one's going to work as hard in your business as you.
absolutely. Um, people don't. I think one of my mates said to me one day when he decided to go out, he worked for someone for donkey's years, and he went out on his own. And he came up to me one day and said, he says, I've got to give you credit. And I said, what's that for? And he goes, well, I need to apologise first of all. So what's the apology for? And he goes, all these years ago, and I turned around and said, oh, you've got it easy in your own business. You can do whatever you want to do, blah, blah, blah. And you've got life easy. He says, now I've employed people. Oh my God, mate, I don't know how you did it. And
Yeah.
to this day, when I speak to him now and then, he goes, I do apologise for that comment 10 years ago. I said, please don't apologise. It's ducks off the water's back. But it's amazing how people respect people that, in this world, come to work and think it's easy and not realising what we're going to do in the background to be able to pay your wages and pay the tax and pay the bills and everything else.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just working.
Yeah. Especially when, and in fact, my experience is the more people that you employ, especially people locally
Yeah.
in Australia, the more tax you pay. You end up get to about 5 or 6 people. I don't have that now.
No.
And you end up working for them and the ATO, and you got
Yes.
nothing.
No, exactly. I think, for me, I find that a niche number that I would have in my business is about 4 people, including me, or maybe
Yeah.
5. But I wouldn't want any more than that. But I don't think someone would bring that up is if it's going to, affect our quality of service. And at the moment, it's not affecting quality of service. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. All right. Cool. So, any other lessons you think we should, especially for somebody new in business?
If you're new in business, just make sure you've got, you're making, set your profit margins. Make sure that you know what you want to make in profit.
Mm-hmm.
Set yourself a target. I like to set myself a monthly target and say, hey, if I'm going to earn, this amount this month, the next amount next month, I want it to be 10% more or 5% more or 2% more. Set yourself a target down so you can work on that. Because I think if you don't set yourself a target, you'll never achieve what you want to achieve. So
Yeah.
I got a 3-year target, and I've got my 1-year target, my 2-year target, and my 3-year target, and I'm on track for my 1-year target. So I'm going to be pretty happy this financial year.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a good year as well. So, and I've just moved from the city to the coast.
Oh, welcome up to the Central Coast from Sydney then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it's nice. I am enjoying it up here. I still head back to the city all the time. I'm back there tomorrow, but it's nice, and that's a benefit these days. You can work from anywhere, and there are other issues, and we'll cover that in another episode perhaps about working from home. That's pretty big and pretty important these days.
It is. It's very important these days. Hybrid mode, as they call it.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of challenges with working in hybrid mode. You just mentioned one before. Someone sending off emails in the background because they're not being watched in an office environment, and then all of a sudden, oh shit, you can make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot to do with when you got to have a lot of trust in that too. But that's another episode we can have a chat about too.
Absolutely right. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time there, Kris. And that's Kris from bellmax.com.au.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you.
Right, so we'll stop